Welcome to a very bright, beautiful, warm, sunny day, but a little bit windy, so maybe not the best for drone flying. That said, DJI have recently updated the firmware, which was mostly aimed towards the DJI Avata 2 FPV drone. I did make a video about that if you want to check it out, but it does also get updated for the Mini 4 Pro as well, so I thought we'd take this into the air with the latest firmware, see how it flies, make sure there's no issues. Even though there's not a whole load of features coming to the Mini 4 Pro, DJI have said there are a number of issues that have been fixed. Again, without being specific, DJI never are, but hopefully we'll have a smooth flight, and I'm looking forward to this. So come and join me as we get the Mini 4 Pro back into the sky on the latest firmware. Okay, and away we go.
Home point updated.
I do love the way the DJI Mini 4 Pro is able to fly. It's such a wonderful drone, it really is. I mean, all of the Mini series from DJI has been absolutely fantastic. I started with the Mini 2, worked my way up to the Mini 3 Pro, and now the Mini 4 Pro. Loved every one of them. So before I go out any further, I'm just going to return back in normal mode, just to make sure that the wind isn't against us. And yeah, that's no problem whatsoever. The drone is handling that without any issue. So let's go and get a little bit of range here and just see how the drone is flying right now. I'm at a height of about 60 meters. We have the precision landing activated, which is a really neat feature of the Mini 4 Pro. A lot of people still get confused about what that is, but it actually uses the camera sensor on takeoff to see exactly where it's taking off from, to give that landing a little bit more accuracy. A new feature, by the way, for the Mini 4 Pro, not available even with the Mini 3 Pro. And yeah, at a distance of about 440 meters, we still have full signal bars and no issues there. Sometimes in times past, a couple of these firmware updates have caused subsequent issues with signal degradation. So I'm at a distance now of about 500 meters, which is about the limit I tend to push the Mini 4 Pro. One thing I do love about the DJI Fly app is how you get the home point actually situated on the view itself, on the screen display. It's not just simply positioned on the map, but you can see it in the real life view too. So that's a really nice little feature. It's been there for a while. That's not part of the latest update, but it is something that I am a big fan of, always have been since they first introduced that. I can see myself there. I've dropped the altitude just a touch. Maybe we can try a couple of the Quickshots, because they are also a neat feature of the Fly app. Just make sure that everything is working as expected. So if we head down to Quickshots, select our obstacle here, or select our subject, I should say, not obstacle, and it has done that. It's found the tree. And we can go ahead and maybe change to rocket or something, which is always a good little starting point, and select start there.
2, 1.
And these quick shots just make work so much easier, I find, when it comes to trying to capture some great cinematic footage of various subjects, rather than having to do all that work yourself. These quick shots just take all of that hassle out for you. And because it's controlled by the computer, the movements are, for the most part, really smooth. In fact, much smoother than I could tend to get myself if I was flying manually. And once it's captured the shot, as always, it will come back down to the starting position, which is what it's doing now. So yeah, that works absolutely fine. So the drone shot is where the Mini 4 Pro will move back at an angle and keep the subject in frame, of course. Now you can also use quick shots on the other mini drones as well, including the Mini 3 Pro and the Mini 2 and the Mini 3 not Pro also. But you do have to be aware of the fact that there's not much obstacle avoidance, although I'm not sure if obstacle avoidance is disabled anyway, even on the Mini 4 Pro when using quick shots. I have to check that out, I honestly can't remember. There's no obstacles for me at the minute, so that's not a problem. The only annoying thing here is that as I switch between the quick shots, I'm noting I'm having to reselect the subjects each time. I honestly can't remember if that's how it was on the previous firmware, or if that's something that's glitched its way into this version or not. But yeah, it is a little bit annoying, and hopefully that's something that can be fixed going forward.
3,
but I've selected the circle 2, or the orbital quick shot here.
1.
So we'll give this a go. And then I think we can safely say that at least quick shots have been well and truly tested, and outside of having to select the subject in between changing them, it does seem to be working satisfactory. It amazes me still, even to this day, just how remarkable drone technology has come on over the last few years. It is utterly incredible what DJI are able to cram into a little bit of technology that comes in at under 250 grams. To me, that's just insane. It really is. Even the Mini 2, you know, from a few years ago, my first ever drone, still blows me away to this day just what that little device is capable of. It's utterly amazing. The Quickshots works absolutely fine. The drone itself is flying, it would seem, without any issues whatsoever. It seems to be very stable in flight, and it's handling the fact that it's a little bit windy, a little bit breezy today, without any issues either. So my first initial impressions after updating to the latest firmware are definitely positive. I'm not sure exactly what issues DJI are claiming to have fixed for the Mini 4 Pro. Again, it doesn't really go into details. I don't know why DJI refused to do that with their firmware notes, but it always just says various bug fixes and issues fixed, never actually telling us which issues were fixed, so it's hard to test, you know, exactly how they've been fixed. But the actual flight here is, well, it's wonderful, let's be honest. The Mini 4 Pro is just a fantastic bit of kit, it really is. So yeah, we've given that a bit of a test now, so let's bring it back and come in for a landing. The reason I've done return to home is so we can test out that precision landing. I took off just from the table here, and I want to see how accurate this is going to be. So here she comes now, just above where we are.
Landing.
And it's also good to test these safety features out once you've done a firmware update as well, just to make sure that you're not going to have any untoward surprises. So yeah, every time you do a firmware update, I do strongly recommend that you do go ahead and test out the return to home feature. It's really important to make sure that that's working. And so far, this is looking very good indeed. A little bit close to the edge there, but that is not bad at all. It was actually taken off quite close to the edge. It wasn't like, you know, that far away or anything, but maybe about here. So we're looking less than a foot, I would say, in terms of the actual takeoff point to the landing point. That precision landing does make a huge difference. And you'll know if precision landing is active because you'll have the white icon in the top corner of your Fly app. If it's red, it means precision landing isn't active. It will still land okay, but it will be within a few feet, as it tends to be with the other mini drones and, you know, just other drones in general. So yeah, nice little feature there, and return to home is also working fine on this new update, it seems. Okay guys, so that was my first flight with the Mini 4 Pro since installing and setting up this latest firmware. I had no issues with the flight whatsoever. The only thing is, and I'm not sure if this is intended or if it has even changed in the firmware update, is that when I was doing those quick shots, I did notice I had to keep reselecting our tree, that subject, as I was changing through those quick shots. So yeah, it was a little bit of a nuisance, but it didn't really affect the actual usage of the drone itself, and the flight capabilities were as top notch as ever, so no complaints there. We did test the safety feature in return to home. That was absolutely fine as well, and the precision landing worked as expected too. So yeah, if you were in two minds about updating, there's probably no reason not to, since it does claim to fix various issues, and hopefully you will have some smooth flights too. Thanks for checking out this video update for the DJI Mini 4 Pro, and I'll catch you in the next one. Happy flying.